Have you ever had a small phrase that stuck in your head for hours, even days? It's not always yelling or cursing that destroys your trust. Often, it's the power of gentle words. Phrases that seem normal, but carry control, emotional blackmail, and hidden manipulation. The worst part is, before you realize it, you're already trapped in the game. Today, I'm going to reveal the most dangerous phrases that expose manipulation and explain why they have so much power over you. And before we begin, leave a like and subscribe to the channel, because this content can open your eyes in a way you will never forget. Sentence 1. You're exaggerating. This is one of the favorite weapons of those who manipulate. It seems simple, but it carries enormous weight. Imagine you feel something strange, notice a detail that isn't right, and when you open your mouth to speak, the response you receive is a cold, "You're exaggerating." At that moment, what happens? Your emotions, your instincts, your perception, everything is called into question. This is a classic form of gaslighting, a technique in which someone tries to distort your reality until you no longer trust what you feel or think. Gradually, without realizing it, you begin to question yourself. Am I really exaggerating? Could it be that I'm the problem? And this doubt grows like a shadow within you. The result? Your confidence is eroded. Each time you hear this phrase, your inner voice loses strength and the manipulator's voice gains ground. This is how, little by little, you begin to surrender control of your own mind. But that's just the first layer of the puzzle, because the next sentence doesn't just weaken your perception, it makes you carry a guilt that was never yours. Want to find out what it is? Sentence 2. It's your fault. This is one of the cruelest because it directly affects your self-esteem. The manipulator never takes responsibility. There may have been a nasty fight, a blatant lie, or even a betrayal. No matter what happened, somehow, the story is always told in a way that makes it seem like the mistake was yours. It's like he's holding a distorted mirror. Everything he does wrong is reflected back at you. If you complain, you're to blame for ruining the mood. If he lies, you're to blame for not trusting enough. If he cheats, the excuse is that you didn't pay enough attention. See how the narrative is reversed? Over time, you begin to carry guilt that isn't yours. It's a heavy burden that slowly erodes your confidence and creates a vicious cycle. You apologize even for mistakes you didn't make. And the more you blame yourself, the more trapped you become in the web of manipulation. But it doesn't stop there. Because when this guilt is already rooted within you, the next phrase comes, the one that cuts off any attempt to question you and silences you once and for all. Want to know what it is? Phrase 3. If you loved me, you would do this for me. Here, the game becomes even more dangerous. This phrase is pure poison because it mixes two things that should never go together: love and obedience. The manipulator creates an emotional trap where love only exists if you give in, if you give up on yourself, if you do exactly what they want. And that's where the danger lies. Because when someone you love says this, your first reaction is, shouldn't I really prove my love? But the truth is, this has nothing to do with love. It's emotional blackmail. It's a way of making you believe that you'll only be worthy of affection, attention, or respect if you're willing to sacrifice yourself. But true love doesn't ask you to renounce your identity. It doesn't require you to overstep your boundaries, nor to trade your peace for blind obedience. When the feeling is real, it adds to you. It strengthens you. It doesn't imprison you. So, if love always comes with demands and conditions, beware. That's not love. It's just another form of control. But if you think you've seen enough manipulation, brace yourself. Because the next sentence doesn't just push your emotions, it directly attacks your sanity. Sentence 4, you're going crazy. This is one of the most brutal phrases because it doesn't just affect your emotions, it targets your mind. When someone says it, the goal is simple: to make you doubt your own sanity. It doesn't matter if you have concrete evidence, remember every detail, or if the facts are on your side. Hearing repeatedly that you're going crazy can cause your confidence to crack from within. This is the height of gaslighting. The manipulator creates a parallel reality in which they are always the sane one, and you are the one seeing things that aren't there. Gradually, you find yourself asking, am I the one making this up? Am I confusing everything? And that's when the prison closes. You no longer even trust your own memory. This kind of attack undermines your autonomy and leaves you dependent on the other person's distorted version. It's as if your mind is being rewritten little by little until you feel too small to question it. But as cruel as this may seem, there's another phrase, perhaps the most painful of all, because it mixes silent contempt with the threat of abandonment. Phrase 5, no one will want you but me. This is one of the most devastating because it strikes directly at the heart of your self-esteem. When you hear it, what sets in is a deep fear of being alone, as if there's no way out. The manipulator knows this and uses this phrase like an invisible chain. The message is clear: accept the little or even nothing that I give you, because outside of here, you're worthless. It's as if they're trying to plant within you the idea that you're too hard to love, that no one will ever have the patience and affection to be by your side. This psychological poison makes you settle for crumbs, believing you deserve no more. But the truth is quite different. Someone who truly loves you would never use fear as a tool of control. This statement doesn't come from someone who wants what's best for you. It comes from someone who just wants to keep you trapped, insecure, and dependent. And if you've already grasped the weight of these phrases, get ready, because there's yet another level of manipulation, one that tries to turn pain into proof of love. Want to know how this works? Bonus tip: I only did this because I love you. This is the phrase that comes as a final justification, a kind of ace up the sleeve of the manipulator. At first glance, it even seems romantic, as if mistakes, harsh attitudes, or even control were signs of intense love. But in practice, this is one of the most disguised and dangerous forms of manipulation. What it does is completely invert the logic of love. Instead of showing affection through gestures of care, respect, and trust, the manipulator uses pain as proof of love. They make you believe that suffocating jealousy, constant surveillance, or even violent fights are just demonstrations of feeling. As if suffering were the measure of intensity. And little by little, this creates confusion within you. Because deep down, who doesn't want to believe they're loved? This phrase exploits this very human desire to feel special, to mask toxic attitudes. And when you convince yourself that it's just because she loves me, you end up tolerating behavior that, under any other circumstances, would be unacceptable. The truth is simple. Love never comes with constant pain. Love doesn't need to be proven through control, sacrifice, or humiliation. Those who truly love don't need to hide mistakes behind these excuses. Those who love care, respect, and build together. But here's a thought. How many times have you accepted this phrase without realizing how much it was distorting your vision of what it really means to be loved? Conclusion. Words can be sharper than any knife. Some phrases act like invisible chains, wrapping themselves around your mind until you believe you're trapped, with no way out. But here's the truth. Each of these phrases doesn't show strength, but weakness. It's not you who's broken. It's the manipulator who doesn't know how to love without trying to control. Recognizing these signs is the first step to breaking the cycle. When you understand the game, its power over you disappears. And remember, true love doesn't need to convince you that you're guilty, that you've gone crazy, or that there's only one person capable of accepting you. Real love brings freedom, not imprisonment. If you've heard any of these phrases, don't normalize them. They're not just random words. They're clear signs of manipulation. The sooner you recognize them, the sooner you'll regain your strength. And here's the invitation. In the next video, I'll show you how to spot these patterns early on, before they become a psychological prison that's hard to escape. So, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell, because this is just the first step to never falling into manipulation games again.